Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the event Anveshan, the Hidden Palette. Today, I, Gargi Call, UD of Z252, will be hosting today's event, and I welcome all the eminent speakers from different walks of life who have come here to share their knowledge and vast experience with the students to the Career Guidance Program, Opportunities with Architecture. This symposium will give a direction to all the students so that they can explore more and find creative ways with mentoring of experienced co-person. With enthusiasm, let me introduce to our guest of honor and speaker, architect Lokakshi Gandotra, inspector and also an architect, Border Security Force, Ministry of Home Affairs, architect R. Shavana Raja, assistant professor in Department of Design, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, architect Pradeep Singh Rikhi, commercial pilot in a non-scheduled operator, and also an architect. Allow me to welcome our first speaker with special gratitude, architect Lokakshi Gandotra. She is currently working with the Border Security Force, Ministry of Home Affairs in New Delhi, in India, as architect with designation as inspector from last 6 years by incorporating the knowledge of sustainable architecture to the work entrusted through the innovation. She did BArch from Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar, and thereafter did the Master in Sustainable Architecture from Central University of Rajasthan, and then joined the Border Security Force, Ministry of Home Affairs in 2014. Make sure you put down your doubts and question in the chat box. Then I will give lead to you, ma'am.
Hi, I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening,
You, ma'am.
everyone.
Good evening,
So,
ma'am.
thank you so much. I'm honored to be here today with you for this moment. Okay, so can I share the presentation? Can I start with that?
Yes, ma'am.
So I hope it's visible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So we are here to discuss about opportunities in architecture, and I'll be sharing with you about my profession, that is so myself Lokakshi Gandotra. So I'm working as working in BSF as architect since 29th May 2014. So I'm in 8th year of my profession. So, and I would like to share that I completed after I joined the department. I did my compulsory hard training from Feb 2015 and till 2015. This must be new to hear. After that, anybody joined the department, after that there was a compulsory training. So I would like to share that this is a compulsory training that armed forces need to do, even if they are they are in the technical field or in and around. So, like I just shared that Ministry of Home Affairs. So there are many departments that comes under it. So one is Central Armed Police Forces, under which Border Security Force come, right? So we have many departments in Border Security Force as well, serving for the border, serving for the nation in one way or the other. Some indirect, some direct way, like that. So, and in Border Security Force, there is itself an engineering department where we have architecture department, and I'm working as an architect in BSF, like that. So the journey when you join BSF, it's a proud moment to be in the BSF. And so, and when you do, it's like you are an architect and you are doing something different from it. Even being a part of architecture, being a part of technical field, you have to go through that level of, the training that need to be done. So I did my 5 6 months hard training, proper army course that I did in Bangalore. So if you can imagine, as an architect, I'm working day night, making drawings and everything, giving juries, taking during juries like that. But this was something different that need to be done. It's compulsory. Like, the job will be fixed, will be stamped with that you are an official part of the BSF, paramilitary forces. So I'll share with you how we enter into it. So we have a system, like, it's the main headquarters is in Delhi, and then we have the main Eastern and Western Command that have architects. So first, like, we have to give the entrance exam for the by the department that is held, and then scrutiny is being carried out. Then after that, we have to do physical tests. We have to run, we have to do a lot of things to enter into that level. And then when that gets scrutinized, we have to give the interview by different doctors, our architects, and then we have then we have authorities of BSF that they analyze that, are we capable of being in BSF? Are we aware of all the facts that we have to do for the department, for the nation, right? And after that, when we cross that interview, the major part being in forces is the intense medical test. So this is my personal experience that it was pretty hard, intense. Like, they very intense. Like, I don't think so. In general life, we get ourselves checked if it is in an emergency or something like that. But yeah, that's a thing that is a part of armed forces that is important. the people of the people of armed forces should be physically fit, so that they will be available day and night for the nation to work anywhere and everywhere, right? So then after that, the test, the selection comes. So when I gave my exam, so it was around 250 people over there, and there were 3 posts only. So, and I was the only female architect. So I would share that I'm the first female architect in BSF. So, so when I gave my exam, then it was like, being an architect, you don't think like, oh, physical test is difficult. Just keep on working with the computers, with like on the sheets, and we are carrying out. But yeah, it was hard, but it was, though not difficult. Everything is possible, and that's why I'm in BSF right now. So I cleared my test. I was first person to be was being scrutinized after the written test. I was the first one, and then it was physics test. I thought it will be a little difficult for me to do it, but I did it. So that was being destined. I did it, and then after that there was interview, and then was, as I shared, that intense medical test that was around 2 3 weeks. We have to do that, and then when you join BSF after 1 month of all the documentation and everything, so we have to do that 6 months training as a CFA of personals. So you must have seen movies like Border and everything. So the intense that we have to wake up at 4, and Lakshay you must have seen. So waking up early at 4 o'clock, and just sleeping like around 9 o'clock, and getting ready for the next day. Then in the department, you must be wondering, so what happens in the department? So it's like, as we are very less architects, and also in armed forces, there are very less positions for architects. So you have to really beat for that positions. But when you are in, so you are in for life, right? So we do everything in the department, like from the master planning to detail building level drawings. It can be anything. It can be anything. And then we have to be in the departmental meetings between ministries and the departments. So we have to deal with all the ministries that we are into. So I'll be sharing few projects that we did. You all must be knowing Atari border, surely, one in Amritsar. Yes. So it was renovated recently only, and it was done. It was monitored. It was supervised by our engineers and designed by our architects itself. This is Hosseini wala border. I think very less people must be knowing. It's in Firozpur. So it's one of the beautiful Indo-Park parade that happens, the retreat that happens there, and it's worth going. So it was also renovated recently. Right? Yeah. So like if you have seen Atari, you must visit this. And it's a very good I would say very good for all the architects, all the younger architects. All the architects must visit there because it consists of museum and everything over there. The history belongs there, so every architect must go and just see what all happening there. This is the end of that one. And recently, if anybody heard about Kartarpur Sahib, the border, so it was also the supervised and monitored by architects of BSF. So that's all that I would like to share. Jai Hind. So up to you. If so, every question is welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful speech. Now we have the question and answer session. Shahab, over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful speech and presentation. It's quite inspiring for me also. So starting with the questions, the first question I have is, how do we get to know there is a requirement for defense?
Okay, so for the BA, we have few positions for in MES also for architects. That comes very rare of rarest, and that's a different procedure. So for BSF, you would like you have to keep checking BSF website first of all, bsf.nic.in. So recruitments keep coming over there, and obviously you should keep checking the employment news. So foreign, because BSF also uploads it, and it's on employment news also. These are the two only platforms where you will be getting to know that these are the posts coming. So we have been like a vast engineering background as well. So engineers posts are there, civil engineers, mechanical engineers, so everybody. So yes.
Okay, ma'am. The second question I have is, how many defense forces we can apply as an architect?
So it's like it is in BSF, and like CAPF has ITBP, Indian Tibetan Border Police. Then we have CRPF and Central Reserve Police Force, CISF, and BSF, and Assam Rifle as well. So it depends. It's like BSF is the first force probably for having a wider architecture. It's now increasing in other also, because we also look after sometimes of other forces, because they all comes under CAPF. So yeah, it is on the way, and keep exploring and keep checking on the websites and everything. So yeah.
Okay, ma'am. The next question is, why did you in particular choose to join defense?
Okay, so I will be very honest. See, when I did my PR from Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar, immediately after that, I did my masters in sustainable architecture, because I wanted to do masters, but not like urban planning and everything. I wanted to explore something new, so I did it in sustainable architecture. So while I was doing it, so like I told you, that these all posts and everything comes on the website and then revenues. So I got this and just went for it, gave my exam when I was doing my dissertation. It was third semester I was doing, and the process was happening in between when I was doing my thesis. And I would like to share one thing, that when the day I completed my thesis, next day I joined BSF. 28th I gave my thesis and I traveled to Chandigarh. I joined. So 29th I joined the Western Command.
It's quite inspiring. Thank you, ma'am. The next question is there any eligibility criteria of age for joining defense as an architect?
Yeah, there is. First of all, DARC is the minimum degree right now, the minimum qualification. And the second thing is, there is, for every department, every government department, you have an age criteria. Sometimes it is 28, so sometimes it is 25. I think it was 28 that time, 27, 28. I was 24 when I joined. So yeah, when you are in one department and want to switch in another government department, then there is an exemption, like, so the 5-year exemption will be, but the minimum is like, I think 27 is the maximum.
Okay, ma'am. The next question is, can we also apply for CDS after BARC? Because it's a 5-year course.
Which one?
CDS.
Can you just tell me this full form of that?
Combined defense services.
Okay. I think more you want to study, you can do that. There must, I am sure, the minimum qualification will be around not graduate. I think, I'm not sure. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time, and the presentation was quite inspiring. We'll move forward with our next guest after 5 to 10 minutes break. Thank you.
So moving on to our next speaker, it's an honor and privilege for us to have architect R. Shravana Raja here with us today. He is currently working as an assistant professor in SRM Institute of Science and Technology in Chennai. He has won the gold medal in a photography event at IIT Kharagpur, selected by the Asian Age magazine, Calcutta, in the year 2002. He is also a member of Council of Architecture and Indian Institute of Architects. He has also conducted a digital painting exhibition in the year 2004, inaugurated by both the governors of Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh at South Zone Cultural Center. So over to you, sir. Make sure you put down your questions in the chat box.
Yeah, welcome all. Able to hear me, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Let me go through the share of the screen. Hope it's visible. Okay. Let me tell me about the journey after getting into architecture. So that may help you in like what is a varied kind of like fields that we can get into after architecture. Uh, though I'm not doing much about in architecture, it's very little percentage, like 10% of my career work. I'm doing 10% of architecture works, but other 90% is all deviated or parallel to the architecture. So what I learned from architecture, and I enjoy that process of like deviating from architecture, but applying all those features or learnings I have got into it. So I did my architecture from NIT Trichy, BIAC, and then did my master's in MDes Visual Communication from IIT Bombay. Currently, I'm doing my PhD in NIT Trichy because I want to be an academician also. So that is the point. And I would like to call myself as an architect, a designer, a photographer, sculptor, and an artist, art director, press photographer. I'm the chief photographer at Press in Tamil magazine, and as a design consultant for companies. And academician is a kind of like a designing while teaching. It's kind of like a helps us to widen the knowledge in that. So these are the works I've taken as my career, like a photography and the sculptures and paintings in the sense of like artworks and designing combined to that with the advertisement and branding, and that comes with the event management in making it an advertisement one, and then print media and cinema, which is my passion, and I keep shifting into cinema and then coming back again like that, because it is not like that I'm permanently in that thing, because I wanted to explore various fields in it, and audiovisual presentations, kind of like animations, all those things for social media awareness for both for NGOs or government things, and web media and social media marketing. It's again related with the advertisement and with the current trend of it, and of course architecture, but it is with very vernacular kind of things I practice on it, not in the contemporary mode, because I more into like a vernacular style of works on it. So I'll since it is all my projects are through the lens projects, I'll quickly go through the things because of the short of time, so that you can get into like what are the varied works we can show, get into it after architecture by showing my kind of like journey in it, like a product shoot or model shoots or even event shoots for it. And these are everything is what I learned is it's not through the proper photography or thing. It's everything is embedded in architecture in the first year itself or in the second year, which is spreads across my life journey. And this is while going for a product shoot or a photo shoot, we go through with the storyboards, and this helps with the sketchings or the paintings or the colors, and helps me in getting into it. So it's like I put a lot of works or like homework in getting into it, and mostly all those works are not for like a art exhibition kind of it, mostly for my advertisements or brandings or company works. So these are the things which happens during the model shoot, and there we are taking internships of architecture students and internship, because I like to mingle with the architects, because that kind of a creative mind which has a like vertical and horizontal thinking, which helps in getting into new kind of like thoughts or new kind of like visualizations. So I get into it. And this is for a chainless cycle, which is right from the logo to the end of marketing and social media marketing. We do it right from designing the colors of the cycle or the logo, or getting the stickers, the graphics in it, and the photo shoots, and how to brand it, how to brand it with the print media or the social media, or going through videos. So I enjoy the process of like being there in end to end, like a start to end till it reaches the hands of the customer from B2B or B2C. So this is for our social media marketing, like using the product. We get into that social media marketing using this kind of awareness program, awareness points like a quit smoking or with the things. And the point is that being in architecture, actually, I'm not very well, very good at English, but since the way of the creative thinking of architecture helps me in compiling the captions for it, that's like abstraction of sentences. I'm not good at grammars, but it helps me in getting into like how to pitch the product or through the things with the kind of statements. I think that's from architecture. So these are the products like from print media, like how we take the photo shoots like from this product, and then with the models, and we use it as a product itself, and then it comes into the print media with the posters or showroom interior designing. There again, architecture helps me in visualizing the interior design of it. And this is the entire product of the cycle. So right from the graphics or the, I can show the things like there is a small three-dimensional logo which is like a embedded or it's a projected one which is done in Kumbakonam, Swami Malai with the traditional sculptors. It's being made out of bronze. It's usually the cycle doesn't, none of the cycles have that kind of things because we wanted to make it like an artwork kind of it. And being in photography, I have been into that. You can get into like press or printing media through the magazine. This is published in the Inside Outside. And of course, with my help of my friends in architecture, they are doing the works and I capture it. And that helps me in like parallelly running with them and getting the fame or getting into kind of like a very lighter version of it. Like because completing a entire project, I think 2 to 3 years is a very tedious one for me. But taking a photograph or getting into an advertisement within 1 month or 2 months, you can complete the product and I can shift into a different one. That gives me varied fields or domains to explore and experiment. And it gives me a kind of like satisfaction in working in all kind of fields like photography or media, visuals. And these are the works have been published in Vogue and in the Better Photography with the cover page of a digital format. Like, so I'm just running it faster because for the shortage of times. So it's like the photography is not through like it's not properly learned or it's a kind of passion, but it helps me in my career. I'm not doing it for others, but only for my company works and all those things. But that fits in very well. And again, going into FMCG products like fast-moving consumer groups, you need to put a lot of model works and all those things. But working for hospitals or colleges or product things, you can't use glamour shots for that, but it has to be explained. So there comes kind of like how you break down the informations and convey through graphically or visually. That helps me that from Viscom and with the architectural kind of like a layouting it, how to transfer the informations or communicate it. It helps me here. So you can see that with the two-dimensional images, like with the photography, I have made into a printing. In the printing, it kind of animates. You can see the stages of it. Like thereby, it helps the user or the viewer to understand like how the product works. So it's a kind of like a tough one in conceptualizing and executing it through the two-dimensional way of things. So this comes under like a product photo shoot. Then you have to get into that like designing the brochures and getting into printing also. The brochures. This is 5 to 10 years back, 5 to 10 years back, and now currently it is going. Everything is going digital, so print media is getting less. And this is work with the contemporary theatre art group of Kutupatrai. Most of the works, all the works which I'm showing it, or the logos have been designed by us. The Kutupatrai, which is a contemporary one among the 5 contemporary theatre artist group in Asia, recognized by UN is this Kutupatrai. Most of the current heroes heroes have been trained from this, and they're doing very well, like in all the characters. And the logo is designed by myself, and this is a brochures or the print medias. We made it for their dramas or theater works. So this is for a Brahan Natyanjali, just like a Chidambaram Natyanjali. This is the font which I've taken is from like 11th century Chola text. So this helps with the field. The varied field helps me in exploring or experimenting a lot of different things, and that keeps me going with a full energy on it. And this is when I was joined as an assistant director in Tamil movie after completing my IIT Bombay Viscom. So I joined as an assistant director. There I started. There I was able to get into like a PR work, like a public relations work, like designing the posters, and this being an architect, that time it was ArchiCAD. Now it is SketchUps and all those things are there. I don't know if you guys whether you have seen it. And this is the maximum thing which you can bring it in the three-dimensional computer graphics, which was considered as excellence at that time. But this helped me in like how to visualize the character, where to put the camera, and where to hit the heroine should be there, how the hero enters, and how to the camera should be panning on it. So the architecture and the art direction, the architecture helped me in visualizing the art direction with the help of for the camera movement. since I had a photography touch with that. So it gives me a complete sequence or complete network to visualize and get the things done in the art direction side. And this is for a movie which I did. Then I do the three-dimensional sculptures, like with the usage of chalk piece sculptures or plaster of Paris, all those things. This is like a lookalike of a Tamil university, which has to be exploded at the climax of the movie Prochikaran. We did this in the entire plaster of Paris, and all the pillars have been in chalk piece, and it will be explored, and it will be shown only 1.5 seconds for it. So that was my first work into cinema. So this is after completing my right after my BAc. So these are the works which I've joined later, like after started my company as a design mantra. This suddenly on a day, like suddenly after 5 to 7 years, I wanted to join. I wanted to do the art direction, so I joined there for that Kolamavu Kohila, that movie. So it helped me in getting it. These are the shots from the spot. The font is I tried a lot of fonts in it, like Tamil fonts. So these are the fonts which is written by myself in the movie. And here comes, like, after in the printing work, I'll give you some of the examples here. So how well you have to be very in cinema, mostly in the media field, how well you have to be there, or like how well should, or how timely you have to be there to complete the work. Since cinema, that they don't need artists, we need management people, like managing guys, like you have to manage the things at that time, and you should have that, like even a first-hand information of about the artwork or the sculptures or the paintings is more than enough, and even the photography. Here you would have seen that a green color marble table is there. So this was assigned to us within a day. Like by evening 5 o'clock, they told me us to set up the hotel with a green marble table, and it has to be ready by next morning 8 o'clock. So after 6 o'clock, the most of the shops are closed. So we have to get it, but we were not able to get it. But in cinema, in art direction, getting the real things is not a big deal. You have to make it illusion, like you have to make the things to look like real. So there comes like there my printing and advertisement and design experience helped me in solving the problem and making it quickly, setting up this set. So what I did is I took the green color marble texture from a JPG and printed a flex, and then I pasted it on the table of some wooden table, and you won't be able to notice that it is a flex print in the movie. And even the photographs, whatever you are seeing it, it's not, nothing is photo, everything is flex, and all the frames are also like foam boards, nothing is wood. So the shrewdness in picking up things and getting the things on time is very much essential in cinema. And you need a physical and mental stamina to be there in the movie of art direction. And you have to work 24/7, and you don't, means mostly we don't deserve to take rest or fall ill in movie, because that is like a time killing machine kind of it. And apart from this, we have worked on short films, like one for the Central Ministry of Science and Technology, safety measures, and another thing is for solar energy. That is animation works, we can do it. And this are the other short films we have done it. So I'll quickly go through some of the other works, other areas which we can. These are the storyboards we go for it. These are the storyboards. This is for Procter and Gamble. Before going in for it, we will go for this kind of like storyboards, making it precise for 120 seconds. So you don't need to be a very great filmmaker. It needs to be the communication has to be done within precise in seconds. And for that, this kind of layouting or sketchings or pre-plan will help you in getting it. So these are the kind of that work. And apart from this, so photography, movies, and again, interior designing, we can interior design, which is a very less kind of stress for me. So with a kind of like a digital artworks and paintings, and this is the oil canvas, but for 20 feet by 8 feet, we did a canvas painting for the interior design, and these are also possible because of going in a visual mode. Apart from architecture, you can be parallel with architecture, and at the same time you can be there in a glamour kind of like a visual and glamour domain also. These in this this room is for hotel, the interior design, and then the way the photography has been done, and even the painting is done by myself, and the photography is done for the marketing purpose. So it's like a all-in-one kind of it. So you can touch all the fields. Yeah. So this is for interior design, and some of the things like we go for a website also. We have done it. These are the things which we do it, and the things about architecture. Since I like kind of like a vernacular style of things, so this is a bamboo house. We did it in Trichy. So I would love to take the photographs in such a way that it's kind of it helps in marketing it. So, but in reality also the location is like that. It's not much digitally corrected. So getting into architecture and model making, these are the other things which help me in getting into it. Like I do the sculptures on the like soft stones or a model 3D models for the buildings, aluminum die cast, and this packaging designs and miniature sculptures, miniature like chalky sculptures, and this is the plaster of Paris. So all these things are these are the things I did in my UG BR level. That helps me in getting into these kind of varied fields. Really trained that architecture gave me the base to have the confidence in getting into all those fields. So apart from this, the sketches also, you don't need to be a very good sketch like a expert in sketches for these kind of fields. It needs to communicate the things. That's it. So it can be a quick sketch or it can be even an intricate one. So I'll go slow for it. Like it's used with the text. I think these kind of like ideas. Like I think it is because of the corruption from the architecture like UG. So these are the other works. These are the digital sketches I've been doing it. And this helps me in getting into like a storyboards for the movies. We do the proper storyboards, and that is also helpful in it. So I think I have made my points here. I think we guys can go for any discussions. I can go for it.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a amazing and inspiring presentation. Starting with the questionnaire, the first question I have is, how did you develop liking towards set design?
Okay. Set design. I like being an architecture. I don't want to study, so that is the point. So being maths, physics, chemistry is my it's like an allergy to me. But architecture had that kind of like drawings and doing three-dimensional works or sculptures, and all those artworks. So that was that created my passion in it. Like even during my studies at the UG, I will be working for the college magazines or the college for as a photographer. So that passion or that interest set me into the cinema. And cinema is like a kind of like a huge monster, which is you won't be able to control it. Kind of like it. It consumes a lot of time and your physical health. But that becomes a very good challenge, or that becomes a interesting challenge for me. And I really, if I can say that any one field can control means it's a cinema. That is the only one field. Like I can do all the other things very easily, but getting into cinema and doing a set in a day is very tough. And I like that challenge because it has to converge all the fields in it. And apart from that, you have to manage with people from all varied things, being a skilled carpenter or with the producer or the director or the cameraman. Everyone have a varied kind of requirements, and it has to be done within the shortest span of time. Like they won't give you ample amount of time to think and do all those things as like concept or all those things. It has to be done within an hour. Means within an hour it has to be done. If it is within 5 minutes, it has to be done within 5 minutes, and that is what they expect from an art director or from a set designer. And they don't want reality things. They want things to look like real. That's it.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Moving to the next question. When did you realize that your love for photography and art was more than architecture? And what was that first step you took to achieve what you wanted?
Okay. Well, like getting into UG itself, I wanted to get into cinema because the cinema medium is like a kind of like into the DNA of not for India, maybe for Tamil Nadu. Like that's a kind of like a fascinating or a silver screen, which you'll be feeling like a god when you're going to create a set within a day, and like so it helps me in like creating the entire thing within a day means I feel like a god, and it puts a lot of challenge in it, and solving it within the with the strategy or with the approach that helped me in it. But going for photography is like now it is not at that time it was with the film, and not everybody can handle the film camera, and because the lighting is not with that there won't be any light meter or something like that. You have to judge with your presence of mind or with the previous experiences, and that helps you to become like a stand apart. Like it's a kind of like a fame. Anyone cannot be a photographer at that time, so that becomes like in a crowd you will be seen separately. Like you will be given importance, you will be given the red carpet kind of things. Like, but going with the digital things, and everyone can take a photograph now, but even now if it's like how to capture the things and what to communicate, and how to communicate things is much important rather than the technology of the camera or with the quality of the camera. So even now it is like a photography is like one of the things which everyone cannot master in it, because it should have a kind of like visualization built in kind. So that is one of the things, because I can while I was as a photographer, was doing photography in my UG, very few people will take it, will take cameras and will handle cameras, and that becomes like you will be famous in the entire campus. So that I like it, so I made it. And that is also part of it.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, what can be the approaches if we go for set designing? I mean, after BArch Masters, opportunity for set designing.
Yeah. Set designing is like nowadays it's becoming like a more systematic and um, more professional in it. And nowadays it is not, the set is not previously the movies were created inside the set. See, it was created inside on particular places, then it went out like a go for outdoor, all those things. Now again the cinema, the movie is coming back again inside it, like with with the help of digital, going like mixing up with digitals and the reality. So like mostly it happens digitally now. Even the sets are not made in real time, in real with a real three-dimensional or a real material. It's everything is created with the the 3D graphical work. So they're using the usage of software, and the actors has to behave with that and all those things. So we need a people like a kind of visualizers, and we need architects or designers or interior designers kind of it. Only thing is that you are not going to make it in reality. Everything is going to happen within the system, and with that because of this technology made easy for photography, and movie making itself becomes the technology is now is made very easy. Like even with the mobile you can shoot a film, like entire film can be shot with the entire mobile. So the cost or the technology involved is very less. Now only we need experts in it to create it more standing out. So that kind of things is the right thing. And one more thing is for set designers, like you need to have a physical and mental stamina. Again, I am telling it, it's not that easy to be there in a set or something like that at this moment. Maybe if it goes even digital, it may be easy to be in a air conditioned room and then doing a graphical work. But at this right moment, you have to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you have to reach the set at 8 o'clock, and it has to be made ready in the previous day itself. And then even after all the other fields like a camera or a director or direction or costumer, makeup, everyone will be able to take rest. But art direction people or set designers cannot be making, because we have to run 24/7 or throughout the entire schedule time. We have to make the set ready when the other thing is getting it short. So you won't be able to once. so being the fascination is good, the fame is good, and everything will be enjoyable. But in reality, you have to use most of your physical and mental health there to complete it. If not like a successful, to be in it, you need to have a very good mental stamina and physical stamina. So that is what my advice here.
Thank you, sir. Moving to the next question. According to you, what elements in a particular frame should enhance or portray the beauty of architecture of the place?
Yeah, lighting, mostly the lighting comes into the play. And the camera is with the camera, even though if you do a very good set design, and if the camera is not handled properly or the lighting is not handled properly, it won't be the set design work won't be completely revealed or completely transformed. And even if you make some makeshift things for a very quick one, with a good cameraman, with a good lighting and photography, that set design will look marvelous and extraordinary in it. So for this kind of like architectural things, lighting and camera and photography will play a very major role in making it. So being a set designer, a photographic sense is very much essential. How a camera may be seeing this, or how the lighting will be planning, will be handled on that particular frame, and how that elements of the architecture can be expressed, can be well thought and ahead of it.
Thank you, sir. The next question is the best experience you had, like one shoot, yeah, one design, which is your favorite, or something like that.
Okay. I'll tell you the examples of it, like how it was, how I was very proud to be an architect during that direction. I'm not an artist. Can be considered as a composer. I'm not good at drawing faces. I'm not good at making real three-dimensional sculptures. I do abstractions. During one of those short, we were in Kolamava Kogila. We wanted to make a very old bungalow type. We wanted to have a traditional Athangudi tiles work should be there, and we don't have a time to travel to Chennai to Karaikudi to get the things and make it. So what I did is like I took a photograph of Athangudi tiles in a particular house, and then I printed it as a flex and then spread it over the entire area of the floor. And in the movie, you won't be able to see it. And another thing is about like they wanted to, one of the particular things, they wanted to cut the bureau, the wooden bureau, which is very old bureau, which is a very valuable one. The cameraman wanted to cut the bureau from the back so that he wants to show the camera to be taken from inside, which I cannot do it because as an art director, I have got the 50,000 worth of bureau from there, or like wooden bureau from the set supplier. I cannot do that, but I have to match for the I have to give the work for the cameraman also to complete the work. So what I did is, I took an apple box, a normal fruit apple box, and I put a foam board inside all the four sides, and then painted with the same color of the bureau, and it matched the same things. You won't be able to see that it is an apple normal fruit box. So it is like a quickly you have to react to it. That is what I make it. I think that it is beautiful, rather than going for a lighting, because an art director has to quickly react to the situations and make the shoot complete within the stipulated time. Thereby, you will be able to control the cost of the production, and thereby you will be able to you're reliable kind of it. So and one more things which I wanted to share it is here that during a photo shoot of a Tadam movie, it was at 1:30. We were about to shoot in the midnight shots. By 7 o'clock, all my assistants said that we are tired and we were not able to make it up. So everyone left the shooting spot. Being an art director, I was the only person there. And at the 1:30 or something like that, they wanted to make one of the character to sit under a boulder of boulder, and then she has to vomit or kind of like it's at 1:30, and no other person from the other department will help the things like that. Even the lightmans won't touch the work of art direction, or the cameramans won't help it, or the assistant directors won't help it. At the time I was running a company, I was a faculty, but being in cinema, you cannot expect someone to help just because you are big or you are doing something else, because there your role is for an art direction, and I'm the one left alone. And at 1:30, I was literally, it will be around 100 150 to 200 kgs of boulder which is lying there. I have to transfer it from around yeah, maybe from 40 to 50 feet. I have to move it out, and none of the people from the movie crew is helping me. So, but I have to do it. So I started moving the boulder very slowly. Like I was able to cross only 5 to 6 feet down. There comes like a lot of things are coming into my mind. You're running a company, you're having your faculty there, all those things coming into mind, but nothing will help it in moving the stone from one place to another. So even the assistant directors or all the things, everyone is holding their hand behind, because without unintentionally it just helps. So everyone is holding their hand back. But luckily, some tea vendors or some boys from the tea shops, they were leaving the shops, and they helped me in moving the things to put up there. This is the things which I always wanted to remind in when I'm going to think about cinema. So is this the real field? Is this the field you want to go get into? That is how it will be. There won't be any like easy cakewalk kind of it. Even you don't need to be an artist for it. You need to do the things done on time. So that shot, whenever I'm going to see that shot, all these things will come into my mind. So it needs again, as I said, it needs the physical and mental stamina to withstand that particular pressure kind of it, rather than being an artist or art designer.
Thank you, sir. The last question which I have is, why did you choose set designing or film industry after architecture? Any particular reason for that?
It's not for, as I said, that I was able to merge all the skills which I have experimented or explored in one medium, means that is cinema, photography, sculptures, lighting, printing, advertisement, designing. Even I write poems. So I have given dialogues for movies. I have given lines for songs, and I do the fonts, movie fonts. So that is the only medium which I'm able to experiment all my skills. I won't say that I'm a top or a best guy in it, but it is good for. I felt I had the satisfaction of experimenting all those skills which occurred from the architecture, and in applying it, and at the same time, like that, it is enjoyed by across the sectors. It's not only people, very few people like a kind of like a one particular domain. It's like it's a what to say, it's a common man's medium, so everyone is enjoying it. So that helps, that gives me the satisfaction of being there into that movie set design.
Thank you so much, sir. That was quite inspiring, and we'll move forward with the next one.
Okay, thank you
Thank
all.
you, sir.
Thank you. Yep.
So, moving on to our next speaker. With great pride and honor, I am here to introduce architect Pradeep Singh Rikhi. He is a motivated, competent pilot, architect by professional, with a bachelor's degree focused in architecture, recently acquired commercial pilot license from one of the esteemed flying schools of New Zealand. Now, currently, he is working as an assistant flight operations manager in a non-scheduled operator. He is skilled in piloting, instrument flying, visual flying, architecture and structure, and interior architecture. So, over to you, sir.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. Well, it's really humbling. And I'm sorry I do not have any presentation to reflect my present profession, as it is really different from the fields of creativity. But I surely have a lot of words to express, which I've penned down today, and which I want to put across. Well, firstly, I'll start with good evening to all the respected speakers and the people who have taken their time out to join this event. And a big thank you for having me here and giving me an opportunity to throw a glimpse of my confusing yet motivating journey on the esteemed platform. As during my graduation as a student of architecture, I still remember how highly we looked up to NASA and its events. Really, it's really humbling to be here, and thanks again. So I'll start off with introducing myself. I am Pradeep Singh. I am a proud alumni of Chitkara School of Planning and Architecture, Chandigarh, and also a licensed commercial pilot in New Zealand as well as in India. Currently working as an assistant flight operation manager in a private charter company. Now that I've given my introduction, you may be thinking, a pilot after doing architecture, why? Such an idiot, right? I mean, if he had to become a pilot, then why did he choose architecture? Well, the ones thinking similarly are not to be blamed, and well, I get that a lot. But before telling you why, I would like to throw some light on how and when. That would make more sense, I guess. So, taking it forward with how and the story behind my motivation of becoming a pilot, it all started when I was 3 years of age. When one fine day, my next door neighbor, who was a naval aviator in Indian Navy back then, now retired as a Indigo examiner on Airbus 320s, used to fly Harriers. So Harriers are a type of aircraft which the Indian Navy operate at that time. So he decided to show up in his all dazzling uniform. And for the ones who once dreamt of being into armed forces, which I'm sure many would have, could relate to me how good a feeling it is just to admire that shimmery. Well, I was no different and was starstruck pretty much. And that impression of that uniform was so significant that it later got stamped in my head as a desire or a dream, which later turned into my want. So yeah, pretty much carrying forward with the idea, I moved on, imagining myself in the uniform and the cockpit with the desire of becoming an Air Force pilot. But having said that, you might be thinking that it still somehow doesn't justify that if you were so sure about being a pilot, then why architecture? So till 2007, it was all good, but after that, recession hit, and all the world economies were pretty much doomed. And if anything of that sort happens, be it recession or COVID in recent times, the first industry that gets the first punches is the aviation sector or the travel sector, because it's mostly governed by the fuel and the prices, and it's a fuel-based industry. So it was, yeah, not very pleasant. I mean, to see or to take note. I was just a kid back then, in starting in seventh, and following the aviation industry closely. Figured that out after seeing so many pilots getting unemployed from 2007 to 2012. That I made up my mind pretty much that a degree is also one thing that one needs to acquire before setting steps in this field. So yeah, so I took science in class and cleared my 12th. This is exactly when architecture comes into picture. Well, I always was a creative student and a to go for architecture, um, seeing the likes of me. And yeah, so gave NATA as well as started to prepare for National Defense Academy also simultaneously. And cleared my NATA with a decent score and cleared my written for NDA, but somehow couldn't clear the high cutoff list that it requires through the SSB process, and fell short of getting there, I mean, into the Indian Air Force. And then I came into my college and started off with architecture. So first year went by struggling in structures and building construction mostly. Well, some of you can relate with me pretty much. Was an average student and was good in design. Then 3 years went past in a flash, adapting, growing, learning, evolving in every fold of sheets taken and worked on. Then we reached fourth year. So we had an internship that was a 9-month internship. So 9 months internship, which we were supposed to do before our thesis. So that was a pattern of our college at that time. And then in the fifth year, we were supposed to go for a thesis. So I did my internship from under Kapil Agarwal, Spaces Architects at the rate in Delhi. And he was basically my mentor, and he was the one who pushed me to kind of go after my dreams and not let it go. So after that time, I was just very sure where I want to go, and it was during this time that reality kicked in, and I made up my mind that after completing my degree, I would definitely realign myself towards the dream which I always dreamt of. That was to get into the cockpit, as it was hard for me to kind of accept myself, seeing myself in the desk working 9 to 5, with all due respect to the profession. But so yeah, came back, completed my thesis, graduated, became a licensed architect in 2018. Was definitely a proud moment, I must say. To add to this, I can say that doing architecture was the best decision ever made, and I don't regret it. Mostly because the 5 years I spent doing the degree, the things that I learned, faced, because I mean, presenting your sheets to designing and justifying your work in front of the jury, uh, it immensely made the person who I am today. And yeah, it really molded my thought process. So yeah, I mean, I then in 2018 I got graduated. So eyeing to realign myself, my wants, started preparing myself again for Combined Defense Services (CDS), and again was fortunate enough to clear the exam, the written, but fell short of the few marks again. The pattern repeated itself, and I couldn't clear the Indian Air Force, cleared Army, could clear Navy, but couldn't clear Indian Air Force. And so so it has a certain age limit. So you can't give more attempts after you've crossed 24. That's for CDS. And so at the age of 24, it was my final attempt. So I had to leave that dream of becoming an Air Force pilot. So the only thing that was left for me was commercial aviation, because I was so mad about it. And yeah, and fortunately enough, I've had a lot of good friends around me, good siblings, and obviously the credit goes to my parents also, who have been there for me and supported me throughout in my decision making. So without them, I don't think I would have made it um, through the transition. So in 2019, when I was going for my training for my commercial pilot license in New Zealand, everything about aviation industry, excuse me, seemed to be very flashy. I mean, everything was on good terms. All the stats were going off the roof. All the critics and the analysts were kind of convinced that it would going to reap fruits in the future, and it was the fastest growing industry. And but yeah, so it made my decision at that point of time really easy, and I carried forward with it. And then we heard that news that there's a virus that is dwelling in Asia Pacific, and it's kind of flowing in an unprecedented duration. So disregarding it, I continued my um, journey and got my commercial pilot license. Um, well, not knowing that it may come as a bump in the future opportunities, but yeah. So I got my commercial pilot license. Well, this was the second most proud part of my journey, where my legs kind of shook in pride to justify my existence, as this was it. I had always wanted to be in this place. So yeah, getting the license, came back to India during not so pleasant times in 2020, where the whole country was in lockdown and everything was on a still. And during the while when everything was locked down, I started my process of converting my license to Indian standards and attained the Indian license. And then once the lockdown was open, then there were not many opportunities in the aviation sector. So I realigned myself to being an architect, kind of balancing both. I think that's the beauty of the profession, the flexibility that it provides, and the timelessness of the field that you can realign whenever to the profession and the things. So I started working under Ajinable Architects, and I worked there for like 6 to 7 months till the country was back on terms and the aviation sector again started booming. And then I got a job, I got my license, and I got a job in a private chartered company, which is a non-schedule operator. And I'm currently working there as a assistant flight operation manager and in a prospect of becoming a pilot. So yeah, this is pretty much the summary of my journey. Well, I hope the sound is not kind of disturbing. Is it? Yeah, so this is pretty much the summary of my journey. Well, it can be questionable, yes, but satisfying, hell yes. No matter what bumps life or COVID created, I don't regret a single bit about the decisions that has been taken by me during this while, be it architecture or be it training to be a pilot, as both the occurrence had its own share of pulling me into the being I am today. So now that you have an idea, I would like to tell you how it is actually to be a pilot. I mean, what it needs, or a sneak peek into the profession. So, what is a pilot? Many may refer to a person assigned to take off the plane and put on autopilot and auto throttle and get passengers from A to B, wearing a uniform. Well, some of which is true, but not entirely. Well, I'll get that and get to it in a second. So, in my opinion, a pilot is a professional who takes a responsibility for like over 150 passengers' lives on the deck to get them where they wish to, facing dealing with challenges, stresses, or sometimes emergencies like bad weather, engine failure, hydraulic failure, system failure, or any other thing that may affect a machine. So, roughly, a pilot is a skilled multitasker, professional navigator, a Met officer, an engineer with a knowledge about the systems of an aircraft and flight performance. And to add, a person with good reflexes and motor skills to fly an aircraft. Um, Initially, to be honest, I also had an impression that there's not much to study about being a pilot. But that vague idea lasted a little till I actually started training to be one. So this profession, like any other profession, has its own type of challenges. Like you need to be medically fit and healthy at all times, no matter for however long you wish to fly, be it in your 20s or be it in your 60s. I must say this is a big one, as it may sound easy to be fit, but it is so unforgiving that you can just lose your license in a bit if you don't be fit and you don't take care of your health. So the other challenges, which is unique to a pilot, is irregular sleeping patterns, which can lead to severe illness if not taken care. Well, everything has its own share of merits and demerits. So these were a few demerits of the profession. But talking about the merits, prime one has to be surely a uniform, which I always looked up to. Second would be the view from the office, which is generally at 36,000 feet to 40,000 feet. Um, Third would be the challenges that could come in your way, which you need to be always prepared and trained for without a margin of error. Not to forget, the amount of training and studies that a pilot needs to go through in order to achieve that is a little daunting, but absolutely rewarding. Fourth would be the salary, but not to forget, the salary comes with a lot of challenges, risks, less job security, and uncertainty. So, yeah, this gets to the concluding part of my speech where I want to speak my mind so as to how it is or it should be prime importance for any individual to go after him or his or her dreams. No matter what my journey that I shared may come across a little questionable. Some may have their own doubts about it, surely. Well, again, it's okay and it's totally respectable. But to add to it, that I must say, going after dreams or my desires was the best decision ever taken by me, no matter the challenges and the non-alignment of time, no matter the naysayers, the mental satisfaction that I have now sitting in front of you is immense, and it gives me the motivation to go after more. So, well, it should be noted that I'm not advocating that dreams can not be followed by following the same profession. It can surely be followed by following architecture and all. But yeah, one should just go after anything or everything what he or she desires, be it any good form of architecture, top forms of architecture, fortune companies or whatever. I think the list is endless. It's just up to the individual if yeah, if he or she has a plan, then probably he or she should go for it. Absolutely, following the dreams may encounter a lot of hurdles. You may require a lot of mental strength to come across them, and you may face a lot of high deals of difficulties in doing that. But totally, once you face the challenges and once you reach where you need to reach, is kind of rewarding, and it's the most satisfying feeling. um, so yeah, I mean, so fear is kind of a limiting factor, and it is present in all of us, but moving past the fear is essential for success. That's what I think. And I would like to end my speech with a quote made by Oprah Winfrey, and I quote, I have a lot of things to prove to myself. One is that I can live my life fearlessly, unquote. Yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the speech and for your precious time. Starting with the question answers. My first question is, what are the procedure to apply for pilot?
So basically, pilot just to be a pilot, you just require 12th class. I mean, you just need to pass your 12th. So you can just have science PCM, and you need to go through a set of medical assessments, class 1 medicals done by the Air Force standards. You need to pass it, and then for that, once you've done it, you need to clear the ground classes, and then train accordingly for your commercial pilot license. And that's pretty much it to become a pilot, and then probably be competent enough to sit in the interviews and to present yourself in front of the airlines for them to take you in. That's the process in briefing.
Thank you, sir. My next question is, according to you, do you feel any similarity in experience between architecture and being a pilot?
Well, creativity. Well, if I say, yeah, architecture is pretty much a creative field, but the similarity which I see is in the decision making and the thought process. There's no similarity as such, but I can just say from my experience, the things that I've taken forward with the degree, and things, I mean, architecture is going through a degree for 5 years is, yeah, it's quite a task. And the things you learn through by meeting people, and the things that the profession provides, um, by meeting people and socializing and then presenting yourself, including the designs in front of the jury, standing next to them and explaining every bit of it so that they can own up, and as well as the clients also. So it is a great task. So, and the qualities that I acquire from that is that helped me in becoming the pilot I am today, and the decision making process in the cockpit, obviously, because I think if I would have applied when I was in health and I would have gone for my pilot training, I wouldn't have been that mature ahead to achieve the license that I'm now sitting in front of you.
Okay, sir. The next question is there any particular exam for being a pilot?
Yes. So there are, so it depends whether you're doing it from India or you're doing it from abroad. So if you are going abroad to do your training, so it depends on what country you're going to. And so mostly, if you first, I'll tell you about when you do your training from India. So when you do your training, you need to clear 6 exams, which is generally conducted by DGCA, Director General of Civil Aviation. So those exams are I mean, those exams takes place in every 3 months. So you need to clear those, and then once you're done with it, so I'm telling about the candidates who are going through Indian process. So there's 6 set of exams. Then you go do your training in a flight school. You kind of complete 200 hours to attain the license. So yeah, so that includes pilot and command hours also, and the dual hours also. That includes night flying, everything. So yeah, once you're done with it, you get the Indian CPL. But the candidates who prefer going out or abroad, the process is same. I mean, you need to do 200 hours, and like I went to New Zealand to do my training. I cleared 12 papers there. So New Zealand, so I did my license in accordance to the New Zealand Civil Aviation Authority and as well as the DGCA authority. And so I cleared a total of 12 papers and then 200 hours of flying, and probably gave 3 more papers back in India to convert back in Indian license.
Okay, sir. At the last of your speech, you spoke about fears. How did you overcome your fears?
Yeah, so I think I don't know. I mean, to answer that, it's a pretty deep and long answer. I can follow up, but to make it short, only thing I was a bit of overthinker earlier initially, but I was fortunate enough to know that I should put an end to overthinking, because I feel fear is nothing but overthinking, and the thing that stops you is your head. And I just came across my fears just by going after what I always desire, and I have always been like it. I mean, if I want something, I'll try my best to get it, and no matter how much pain or how many challenges I need to face, because I don't like keeping regrets to myself. That what if I could have done things the other way? So that those thoughts to my head is a little daunting. So I've never kept those thoughts in my head. So yeah, that's how I tackle fear, not by overthinking and just going for whatever I thought was right for me.
Okay, sir. The next question is, what motivated you to be a pilot after being an architect, and why not anything else or continuing the field of architecture?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to have a dream when I was a kid. I mean, like I said in my speech also, when I was 3, I had a vision to just become a pilot, and I, I mean, getting into architecture was just a little, I mean, a way of evolving through. But I always wanted to become a pilot and nothing else. Even though I gave exams for National Defense Academy and Combined Defense Services, I always wished to become an Air Force pilot. And yeah, so basically, I always dreamt of being that, and that was the only dream I preserved out of the many other hobbies that I wished for. So yeah, basically.
Thank you so much, sir, for your speech and for your precious time. I hope we all are. I am inspired a lot about this. Thank you so much.
I'm humble. Thanks. Bye.
I would like to thank this opportunity. I would like to thank all the speakers for giving up their valuable time and to talk in our program. Your presence not only enriched our event, but also left everyone impressed with your kind and insightful words. Now, I would like to call Marika, Zonal President, to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. To begin with, I would like to thank all the speakers for being a part of the event. It's an immense pleasure for us to have all of you here today and speak about your overviews and your experiences after architecture. So the main idea of this event, which we had started on 15th and we're still continuing it today, was to give a brief idea of how students can take up other professions, not just architecture, after getting a degree. And I feel today's the speakers, they have given a very clear insight of how to take up other professions. And I feel there isn't much limitation. Even if you get an architecture degree, you can go for whatever you like, just like the last speaker mentioned, that there's no limit for dreaming. You can dream achieve whatever you want. So I would like to thank everyone for being a part of this event today, and hope you guys enjoyed and learned a lot from the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Marika.
सतनाम